I'm good. I'm good. I'm thankful and grateful that you've joined me today. I have a very dry voice, so my voice is going to
Yeah.
sound like, it's a bit husky at the moment. Got loads of questions. As you know, I'm a fan of the show. I've been reviewing it on YouTube, so it's great to kind of get some insight scoop from you and see what the deal is for real, for real.
Well, I started playing guitar when I was younger. I was probably like 13, 14 when I started playing guitar. But when I started like singing and sort of like taking it seriously, yeah, probably like 17, 18. So probably not even like 5 really. And then even used to write a little bit, but it wasn't until COVID really that I started like posting TikToks of me singing and posting Instagram videos. And then, yeah, COVID's when it all started like, just started doing more of it. And a manager found was like, yo, I want to like, let's work together. I want to, get singles out. I don't know. I was just naive to it. I didn't think I'd be able to like do that sort of thing. I don't know. I was just naive to it. And then, yeah, then started like bashing singles out and just fell in love with it even more. Like the more I do it, the more like in love with it I become. And the more I just like want to spend all my time writing songs and making music and stuff. So yeah, and then yeah, up until now, and then got a song on Love Island, which was cool. That was like the next sort of big thing that happened. And then, yeah, auditioned for the show, literally by the millisecond. My manager sent it to me. I was like, oh, like, I don't know. I was like, sounds a bit cringe. I don't know. And I remember I had loads of things on that week, and I was like, and I had like a 3-hour window. I was like, well, it's gonna have to be tonight. Like, I'll film these things, but I don't know if it's gonna be rushed. And he was like, well, just rush it, just do it, and did it. And then yeah, so imagine if I hadn't done it. But
Right.
yeah,
Sounds kind of like you've gone into music a little bit without like an intention, like, oh, I want to, I don't know, sell out a stadium or whatever. You just kind of did it and it naturally started happening for you. Having that
yeah.
experience with Love Island, actually, what was that experience like?
Didn't know if I had to be signed or what, but I thought, let's just try our luck. And I watched the credits at the end of Love Island, and I saw who the name of the music executive was. Basically copped her name and then emailed, didn't hear nothing, and then eventually she got back to us, and then it was a bit of a back and forth because you have to go through like PRS and like that whole copyright like scenario. But yeah, back and forth, and eventually, yeah, it got sorted. But she said, I remember her saying, she was like, yo, so I've put it forward, but it doesn't mean that it's going to get on. It's down to the producers on the day. Like, it's not my decision, sort of thing. I was like, oh, no way. And then literally like it was like 10 to 9. She emailed me going, oh, by the way, Love Island's on tonight and your song's on it. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I was somewhere else with my mum. We were out for the day, and I was like, Mum, put your foot down, like, get back. And luckily, like, we could pause it. But yeah, we really didn't see it live.
Must have been firstly a shock because it sounds all last minute, but what a surreal feeling to kind of see your music on a TV show that a lot of people are watching. So now going on to Project Icon, like obviously I kind of was part of the audition process at the start. So I know one of the requirements was kind of to send in a video for you. They kind of give you a brief of what the show is about, but because this is the first series, obviously you have nothing to kind of reference.
What it basically is, a bit like reality-based Times music. I knew it was going to be sort of like that because they were going on about it being modern and not like the X Factor and all those sort of things. So I knew there'd be like a modern reality sort of take on it. But yeah, I did think I was going to be a little bit cringy here and there. But I thought it sounded really cool because, like they said, like Jason said in that sort of trailer that he put on to advertise it, saying like, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And I was like, oh, that's cool because like, yeah, I'm music and stuff, and I don't know, like, because there's a lot of like mad vocalists on there, especially on the X Factor stuff. When you belt all these songs out, I'm like, that's just not my lane, that's just not my style. So I was like, oh, that's cool, like having all these different challenges and that, and writing your own music, which is that's sort of all I really know because I haven't really performed live that much. So I'm more of just a studio guy. That's all I've really done. So.
Right. Obviously, they advertise it a bit more like you're looking at your social presence, you're doing the songwriting, you're doing the performing. Yeah. Was there parts that you were like, oh, if we get to that challenge, I'm gonna hate it?
Like, mind dancing. Like if someone choreographed it for me and told me how to do it, I'd literally be cool with that. I think I was just worried about the like performance side of things, just because out of just lack of experience. Like I probably performed live like 7 or 8 times. And it's just, I always like vocally, it just like shells me in a little bit, and because I'm a confident person, but when I'm on the stage, like I was like, my performance lacks because all I'm thinking about is fuck, I've got to sing the right notes, or like I've got to play this right. Do you know what I mean? So that's I was a little bit worried because some of them people on there, have been doing it years. Like Dylan has been on the X Factor before, Sir J, Meg have been on Like, so, you know, they'd all done like things like that before.
Yeah, I like watching the show. I was a fan. I was rooting for you. It was just like I could tell. Obviously, everyone's nervous. Like, especially if you haven't done a show like this before, you're going to be nervous, and also you're doing a comparison to everyone who has been on the program. But I could tell, like, when I went and saw your profile on social media and then kind of looked at, got into your music a bit, like, it really was different to what we got to see on the show, because I felt like your songwriting is great. So it wasn't as, like what they tried to portray on the show.
I couldn't get the stems in time, basically. All my stems were all over the shop, so I couldn't get the stems in time, so I had to use like a new acoustic one. But I still was like, I could have used an old song, like one of my songs better than me, but I think stupidly I was like, oh, because it's old, I don't like, I just thought it wasn't as good just because it was older. But it is, I guess and as well, they said, all right, take a signature song. But I thought it was one that we would like work on throughout the show, and I've can't finish one then, because like, I don't want to take a finished one. So that was why I sort of like, that's why I took that one. But yeah, I don't think it was a terrible tune. I don't think they like songwriting and all that stuff. But I took it on the chin. I didn't really care. I was annoyed he made me stand up. I was like, what a dickhead.
Yeah. No, you know what? And Frank was like, okay, so Frank was there was just some heat. Like, I don't know, you pissed him off behind the scenes. Me, it felt like it was come a bit like out of nowhere. Yeah, like you chose the wrong song and cool, whatever. But it was more like it was constantly coming after you. I don't know if that was just what was shown. I know the last episode, you kind of mentioned it a little bit.
The first time he said it, like, whatever, he gave his opinion. But in the TikTok, because what they said was, they honed in, they were like, we don't want you just singing in front of a camera. We want something that's going to go viral. And they said that I seemed a bit cocky in the first, which they didn't show. There's so much things they didn't show, so it's hard to like. But they said I seemed a bit like too confident in because my song sounded a bit too confident, and they wanted to see a more like jokey side to me, or like not in those words, but they said like they want to see the other side to me. So I was like, oh right, I'll just show I can take the piss out of myself and be funny and make a viral. That I did in the TikTok challenge, and then he slates me for it not being on brand, but had said don't sing in front of a camera, like don't make a music video sort of thing. So then I was just we only knew ahead of the time on the TikTok one. I think it just depends if you needed certain things, but they did give us a few days before the TikTok thing, but they didn't mention the signature song at all. Like on the first day, that was completely out of the blue. We knew we had that ready, but we didn't know if it was like the first day or it was like through we didn't know. But yeah, the TikTok, they said like just basically prepare, so everyone had time to like think of like what ideas do I want to do. So it didn't seem rushed as it was on the day, and it actually wasn't that hard of a challenge really.
Right.
But I think it's just, some people like are good at social media, some people are not.
It is what it is with that one. Like obviously on the just going back to that first episode, like when Jay starts to like, obviously it is his song and he's proud of the song and it's catchy, whatever. I was kind of wondering, like with that song for him, were they kind of like saying, find your viral moment, like get something that's a bit more catchy?
It would have been probably the case of, he performs it in the auditions, they gas it up, they're like, that's fucking sick. I don't know what the deal was, because as well, like, if it's like the same in X Factor or Britain's Got Talent or whatever, if the producers like you and think you're cool, then they'll put you forward. So, but then, and I think Jason and Becky and Frank, I think maybe they see our profiles or they'll see like videos of us, but I think they keep all the songs and that separate. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, he might have been told. They might be like, yo, dude, like he might have been, yes.
Good. Did you kind of prepare the songs with like your management before or anything like that?
It was done really well at my gigs. I think because with the guitar it does sound a lot better, but it done really well at my gigs and I listened to all my friends, my family and stuff. But I think like what Jason said to me as well, like off stage, I think sometimes to get best advice, it's best to send to your music friends as well as just friends or family, because they're always normally just going to gas it up regardless, like, because especially like you might have some friends that be like, nah, I don't really like, but I think that's possibly the problem with me, without me trying to sound too cocky. Like I've had a lot of yes men, so like I think everything they were like sick, but actually from music, that's why I was sick, being surrounded by a lot of musicians, because they could like critique me, which I really enjoyed. They were like, no, like, but in a constructive way. But then with Into You, the last last song. So I did that at my gigs all the time as well, but it was in the lower key that I normally do it.
Yeah.
And then we do get a vocal coach on the show, and he was like, why don't you take it up? Like, why don't you take it up in the chorus? And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can hit that. He was like, no, you definitely can. And also, Becky said in the first round, like, oh, I want to hear more of your vocals. I want to hear, like, you stretch more, sort of thing. And I can't remember where they showed Becky saying it, but Becky was pleased that she was like, thanks for showing me, like, you know, you took a risk and showed me your vocals in the performance. But yeah, I don't know. I think if I'd and also I had another song planned with a rap in it, so I could show them like my rapping and stuff. But me and chose the same song, so they wouldn't allow us to do that one. Yeah, that wasn't my first choice song.
It's a good song. I did like, now that you've mentioned the key, I think maybe that was it, because it felt like you weren't comfortable singing. Obviously you say you've done this song before, but it felt like you weren't as comfortable as you normally were, which is a shame. And obviously, again, like you know, you posted a Frank Ocean cover that you've done recently, and your voice is really good. I think sometimes you kind of feel like, especially with shows like this, you need to do like big vocals and some cool tricks with your voice.
And I was like, need to be myself. I don't like, everyone was like, don't try and be anyone else. Be yourself. And I think like as my personality came across, I was completely. But I think my head about other people around me, like music wise, and actually tried to be more like vocally mad because everyone else was, or tried to be like, basically just tried to stretch my vocals more because everyone else, but actually like Sizel did, like she still owned that she was a rapping, like that's her thing. You just play to your strengths, because it's like Drake said, I always think about this now, Drake said it in the song, it was like Mike never tried to rap like Pac never tried to rap like Mike, like, do you know what I mean? So
yeah, like, do you? Because I feel like you've been chosen for the show because they clearly have seen something, so there's obviously maybe not even a need to kind of live up to that social media stuff and what they're expecting, because clearly you've got something that they saw. It was a shame that, we didn't get to see more of that, but I think we saw enough, at least, of your personality to kind of explore the music, and I kind of did that. I just felt like on the show it was a little bit like they were gunning after you, and I felt like when you give feedback, which is fine, like they could say, oh, that wasn't great, like you should change X, Y, and Z. But it didn't feel constructive. It just felt like, oh, you're the weakest link.
I think because they only saw a small glimpse, like they saw like me doing like an acoustic sort of track, and I did the Ariana Grande song, but like, and I think because I took it upper key, it wasn't in my like sort of normal like range and that. But yeah, I think, and then I guess like in a way, like the TikTok was me just being funny. It wasn't like a music video stuff, but like they didn't ask for that. So that's why I was like, how am I meant to show you? Like you said you want a video, and that's something I would still post, like to go viral. Like the thing about social media and the way I sort of do it is that as long as I'm hitting a balance between funny, like random funny stuff, music stuff, and then sometimes like having funny stuff that's incorporating my music, like that's going to help me grow the most. So that's what I do, and I think that, and it's worked so far. So,
and TikTok is one of those hard ones to nail. Like I feel like it's like the algorithm's constantly changing, and like obviously I know. I mean, I was going to talk about Amel a little bit because obviously on the show, you know, shit happens. But like she, like looking at her profile, she really knows what her shit is. Like she knows what to do, and some people need to kind of like get into it before they know, oh, people like comedy, or people want to see behind the scenes, or whatever it is. So it is a hard one. But yeah, speaking about Amel, I had a question like on YouTube. Are you guys still together? Is that still a thing for you guys?
It was just more of like just a distance thing, just a logistics thing. But like me, like it is a bit like when you're on that show as well, you're wrapped up in it all. Like it is very like they say in Love Island shit. Do you know what I mean? You're wrapped up in it all. But no, she's amazing. She's cool. Like always support. I mean, her so tight. Like I think so. Yeah, she's probably cool. Yeah.
I know. I was just going to say, sorry, I noticed that all of you are quite close, even off the show. Like, so I'm guessing the beef that we kind of see, like in this episode, or probably in the future, is just not that deep.
Because Barry and Sizel were probably like fucked off each other, but in that environment, like it's mad. Like they shovel these things at you out of the blue. Like it's sort of how you see it. Especially like a second episode, like they were literally like, right, yeah, you're doing this. Like we didn't know about that challenge at all. You're doing it. Ed was like, pack an overnight bag because of maintenance. But I was like, oh, there's something going on here, like surely. And you literally and then they're like, yeah, you're doing this, you're doing this. We literally rehearsed for like 6 hours, got shoved in a taxi, and then we got shoved in this Premier Inn or whatever. And then we were like, I don't know if you've seen Dylan's story, like we're all there like singing in like the Holiday Inn. But yeah, so it's stressful, but yeah, the gang is so tight. I think literally afterwards, because we've all been through the same thing. Do you know what I mean? We're all going through the same thing, and like, yeah, there's like pressure on all of us. So everyone's just so supportive, and yeah, as I said, we all went through the same thing. So yeah, like the whole gang all like love for each other, and like yeah, like had a great time. So yeah, it was all sick.
On the point of like friendships that you've formed, have you guys like caught up like outside the show? I don't even know if you know who's kind of won the show, which you might do, which is because I was going to ask you, who do you think would win? But obviously I'm assuming because you guys are tight, you probably know already. Maybe then I should ask you, like, when you first came on the show, were there like 2 or 3 top people that you thought?
Just because how much they like bigged him up, Dylan. I thought Dylan is sick anyway. Because of just how, like, especially because how much they were bigging him up, I was like, fair. I thought singing, mad vocal. Mia, I was like, wow. Yeah. And then Akeem's like bagging stage presence. Like his vocals in the second act, obviously when he sings Jealous is crazy. Like I think focus in the competition, and absolutely him. But yeah, I think. But at the start, I thought, Dylan, Meg, and Mia.
Yeah, I thought I guess those are very similar to mine. Dylan, I felt like the pressure started to get to him. I don't know how obviously he progresses across the show, but like when it was the opposite of yours. Like you were getting criticized constantly, which was really unfair. And his one was like he got the praise in the beginning, and now he has to match that. Like, oh, you've done so amazing, whatever. Mia for me, for sure. I think if I was going to guess, obviously I'm not going to get you to say like anything, but for me, if I was going to guess who's going to win on the show, it would have been either Mia or Amel, because I feel like if you look at radio, like the big weekend, like those are the kind, like their music is what I would feel would do well there. I know Akeem, just on a personal level, like he's my favorite on the show, just vocally and his music as well. What are your expectations now being on the show?
Slowly like getting bigger and bigger, and it's like slowly building up. And a lot of people reach out. Obviously a lot like people see it and stuff, but yeah, I think it's going to be more of like a slow burner. But I'm worried. I didn't show my full potential on there, and I didn't show like I'm worried about, like the reception that I might get, or like worried that if it will, do as much for me as I thought, or I don't know. But like you went and checked out my socials and that, and then saw. So I'm hoping that a lot of people can do that and just themselves.
I know there's like reservations of getting too much into the show because you can't really speak much about that. So I do appreciate your time. And if I'm going to put this up on YouTube, if anyone is watching back, do go check out Charlie's music. If you're watching live as well, please do go check it out. Genuinely, I think like you should be given the opportunity to at least have a reunion where people see you again, because I think it would be nice for them to really know you as an artist.
That it's like that people can see. Because a lot of people have said that it was like, it wasn't me just like fucking up. They see like wasn't given the best opportunity sometimes.
Hopefully we'll see more of you, and again, thank you for your time.
I'm away this weekend shooting loads of content for it, so yeah, it's about to go big in the south of France, getting some content. It's going to be sick.
So much for joining me today.
So much, bro.
But also I'm excited to follow your journey, so let's keep in touch.